Welcome back, everyone. For today's video, we are going to continue playing against the World Chess Championship Challenger bots. Now, as you guys know, very recently I played against the Jan Nepomniachtchi bot. Today we are going to play against the Ding Liren bot on chess.com and see if, unlike the Jan bot, the Ding bot will play a little bit more true to his style. All right, let's dive right into it. So here we go. We're going to play against Ding Liren bot on chess.com. We'll start with the white pieces, no help of any kind. I'm going to start by playing the move e4, and let's see what Ding does. Now, Ding plays c5. Now, this is already a big surprise. However, as you guys can see from the comment we get, in 2017, I defeated Magnus Carlsen for the first time using the Sicilian defense. Now, I do fashion myself something of a professional chess player, but these days I am a pro streamer first and a chess player second. So I have to be honest here, I don't know what game this is a reference to. Now, maybe I'll do a separate video on the game where Ding beat Magnus with Sicilian, but right off, I had no clue that Ding had ever beaten Magnus in the Sicilian defense. All right, let's play knight f3, keep it simple here, play an open Sicilian here. Knight c6 is played. Now, once again, without knowing what that game was from 2017, I have no idea if this is what Ding did. That being said, I'm going to play c3 here, play the Alpen, rather than going into an open Sicilian. Ding plays d5. I'm going to trade the pawns here. Now, the Alpen or the c3 Sicilian is an opening that is played at all different levels. I myself have played it quite a bit in blitz games in recent years, but additionally, my brother Asuka Nakamura, who is about a master level player, he played this for his entire career from the time he started till he stopped playing chess seriously at about the age of 14, went from 0 to 2200 with it, so it's a very solid opening. Now I'm going to play knight a3 here, idea with d4 and knight to b5. We get bishop g4. Now this move is a little bit surprising. In the past, normally black plays e6, knight f6, or potentially e5. Now, here I could play d4 with the idea of d4 takes knight b5 to do the family fork with knight c7. That being said, if I go d4 takes knight b5, black can castle out of the center right away, which is why he's playing for this quick development. So I think in this position, what I'm going to play here is either I go knight c4 or bishop c4. Now, I don't know which one is correct. My instinct is that if I go bishop c4, queen e4, queen e2, black can take the knight on f3, and that's not quite correct. So I think I will start with bishop to e2 to guard the knight. I can still play d4, I can play h3 or knight b5, keeping all the flexibility. So we get e5 being played here by the Ding bot. Now here I'm kind of wondering if I can't play queen a4 to hit the bishop and then some kind of knight b5 idea. I also wonder if I can't go knight c2 and knight e3. I actually kind of like it, so I'm gonna go knight c2 and knight to e3 to try to fork the queen and the bishop. Now he plays e4 here, which is a huge surprise to me, because I assume I can play knight to e3, although maybe he wants to go queen d7 takes queen g4 and I have some kind of big issue here. Nonetheless, this does look a little bit suspicious to me. So I'm going to play knight to e3 to attack the queen and the bishop. He's going to move the queen to d7, I assume. And now if I take, he takes back, and then I don't have a good square for the knight to jump to. So I could play knight g5, offering the trade of the bishops on e2. I could also maybe go something like queen a4. Maybe takes and queen a4, in fact, is an interesting line. And just because it looks interesting to me, I think I'm going to play it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the bishop. He will take. I'm going to play queen to a4. And then I try to do something from the side, I guess. I think this is my idea. I'm going to play queen a4, pin the pawn on e4. If he takes, I think I have rook g1. I also have queen takes e4. Now he goes knight f6. Now the interesting thing here is that I can play knight to e5. I can also play knight d4. Additionally, well, actually, I don't have additional options because black is starting to capture the knight. So I have to move the knight here or play bishop b5. If I play h3, queen g2, rook g1, black can take on f3, takes. I can't go queen g4. Black will get a queen at the end of the board, and that's game over. I'll probably show this in an analysis after the game ends. But for right now, I think the safe move to play is this move knight to e5 with the idea of taking the knight on c6. So let's go knight e5 here. He can take or go back. Now he decides to take the pawn on g2. Now I have two options. First off, I can capture the knight, give up the rook, and play bishop f1, which is very interesting, but probably not great, because after takes bishop f1, black can quietly move the bishop and scoot the king out of the center of the board. So I'm going to go rook to f1 here, keep the rook in play. I can take the knight next move. Now he plays rook c8. Now when I take after rook c6, I have bishop b5, pinning the rook, so this must be the correct move, although I could play d4 and peasant and then bishop to f3 as well, which is also quite interesting here. So I do need to think for a second. Now my first assumption is that if I go d4 takes, I can take and play bishop a6, but it doesn't look quite right. So I'm not sure whether I should go for it or not. Now, again, this is where I could spend a lot of time calculating the lines, but it's not really in the spirit of what we're trying to accomplish here. So I think I am just going to I want to take, but actually, you know, I think d4 might be right, because takes b6, bishop a6, rook c7. I have bishop f4. I'm just going to trust my instinct and play d4 here. Now there is n peasant, of course. He takes. Now I'm going to take the knight on c6. If he takes with the rook, I have bishop b5. So he takes. Now my idea is bishop a6 hitting the rook, and then if the rook moves away, I win the pawn on c6. If the rook goes up, I have bishop f4, activating my last bishop, and I think this should be good. So let's go bishop to a6 here, attacking the rook. Plays rook c7. Now my move is bishop to f4, activating D's bishops. Pawn on c6 is under a lot of attack here, and I think I'm actually much better after queen takes c6. Now after queen c6, I guess the idea is it wants to go bishop e7, but I do have bishop c8 to collect the rook, and I gotta be honest, I think I'm doing very, very well here. I could also castle the king out of the center of the board. So which one do I want to go for? If I castle bishop e7 and I take, he gets out of the center of the board, and I think because I'm currently down 2 pawns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think c7, I should probably just take the pawn on c6. I do have bishop c8 as well to attack the rook and then take on c6. This is actually potentially very scary for black to face, and you know what, I think that bishop c8 is right, because I tickle the rook, he moves, I get the check. This has to be correct. If this isn't correct, well, I don't want to be right. So let's go bishop c8, attacking the rook. Now queen c6, of course, was a move. Maybe actually queen c6 was better right away, because I just realized if I play queen c6 right away, queen f3, there's check and there's bishop b5. So maybe what I did was slightly wrong, maybe, although still it feels like this should be good. Now of course here I can move the bishop, but there is d3, which is a big problem. In fact, I think I made a mistake. I think actually here I should have just taken, and then after bishop e7 gone bishop c8 there, and I think I would have been in really, really good shape. But alas, there are no takebacks in the game of chess, much like in the game of life. So here I just have to make do with the situation, and with the situation as it is, I am not feeling great, I'm gonna be honest. So I feel like I have to take the rook. I can play bishop g3. I mean, I don't know if bishop g3 is better or not. I'm worried about d3, honestly. That being said, are there other options besides bishop g3? Now I could take and play rook d1. There's queen f5 there, and I don't see a good continuation. I really should have taken this pawn on c6. Bishop c8 was definitely not the best move. So let's see what I can do here. So after takes, bishop g3, d3, queen d1, it doesn't really look very attractive for me, but maybe I have something else. That being said, I don't want to spend all day here trying to play a perfect game, so that's not the purpose of this video. So I'm gonna go, I guess I am gonna take. I don't really have better moves. Queen c6, queen f4 takes, queen c8, king e7 doesn't look great for me. Bishop g3, d3. I think I just have to go for it. I think I go here. Although bishop g3, maybe there's also d takes c3, I just realized, because he can maybe just take and go for this, which also looks quite scary. Actually, bishop g3, d takes c3 looks like a big issue, potentially being the key word. Now it may not be an issue at all, but it looks quite scary here. I wish I could actually castle my king. Like if I could put the bishop here and castle, I'd be completely fine, but it doesn't actually quite work. So I'm gonna assume that here, if I'm looking for a move, maybe it's just bishop d2. Actually, maybe I go bishop d2, d3, and like takes and queen d1. But again, it looks quite scary. So I think here I'm just gonna trust my instinct and play here, but then takes. And what do? I take cb2. I check. Okay, I'm just gonna trust my instinct here, which is to play bishop to g3. Let's see what it's either going to take or play d3. So it decides to take, which was the other line I was very unsure of. So I guess here I have to take the rook. If I don't take the rook, what am I playing for? Although I just realized I blundered again. There's bishop b4 at the end of this line, which I completely forgot about. I thought I could take and check, but there's going to be a bishop b4 in between, and probably I'm about to lose this game because I inverted the move order. Right in this position, I think that here, if I had played queen takes c6, I probably would have won this game, but I inverted the move order, and now I'm probably going to lose the game on the spot. Let's see if there's anything I can do here. Probably not, in fact. I mean, I still don't want to take the rook, but if I don't take the rook, then why is the bishop on c8 to begin with? Problem is there's knight c5, knight d3 as well, and if I don't have an instant move here which saves the game, I'm probably just losing on the spot. Rook d1 and maybe rook d7 with queen takes a7 is an idea, but rook d1 cb2 also looks catastrophic. If If I play queen b3, he just takes, I take, and maybe I can survive, maybe, probably not. But if I don't play queen b3, I don't even know what I'm playing here. So I'm gonna go queen b3. Guards the pawn is the main thing, and I still keep like queen b8 ideas alive here. Maybe I can play rook d1 here is also an idea. Maybe rook d1 is a move, but takes, and it looks pretty scary. I think I just have to take the pawn and pretend that I'm okay here. Again, my king is very iffy on e1. He goes to a5. Now I think a3 only moved to stop bishop to b4 check, which would end my life. So he goes bishop to e7, and now maybe I have rook to d1 and I can try to pretend. Although again, the problem is bishop to f6 and bishop c3 with this checkmate idea could be very scary, probably also just ending the game as well. And I don't think I have a good move here. I think I'm already probably simply lost. Maybe I can go queen c2 or something, or maybe queen b7, queen c3 here, check king e1 and rook d1. Again, looks very, very scary here. Probably just lost unless there's a magic move. I don't see it, and I don't see it. So maybe I play rook d1's not working. Rook g1, bishop f6, and I probably just lose on the spot. Queen to e2, I lose to queen c3, and I think I'm just gonna lose this game. Maybe I go rook c1 or rook c6 and pretend. But rook c1, there's also bishop takes a3, which is the other problem with the situation. So a5, very, very strong move, and highly doubtful there's a move. I'll see if there's anything I can play. Like rook g1, bishop f6 just loses, I assume. Yeah, although rook g1 castles, maybe I have queen takes g7 and bishop e5 with a fossil. But at any rate, I'm going to play rook g1 and probably just resign after bishop f6. I'll go queen b7 and pray. There's also queen d3. There's queen c3. I run the king out. I assume this is just losing because he can just block with bishop d8 here, and there's not anything that I can do about it. If I don't check, I lose. Yeah, if I don't check, I just lose the game. So I have to check. He goes back, and I guess I play nothing. I just resign here. So let's take a look at the analysis. I think if I had played the other order, I was actually completely fine. Let's see. Right here, I go here. Okay, apparently it's not great. I can castle, and after queen to f3, I have bishop e5, bishop to d6, queen takes d4, and black is apparently not really all that much better here after bishop e7 and queen e3. I think in this opening though, right here, d4 takes, bishop a6, f4, rook d7. Yeah, so if I castle, this would have been much more interesting. Really not clear. Again, I'm playing against a computer, and the way the bot plays, it's not going to make many mistakes. So what I did was fairly insane. Nonetheless, a pretty interesting first game from a theoretical standpoint. I think playing the Alpine Sicilian, there's a lot that can be learned here. I think with probably a stronger computer engine, we'll see what the actual evaluation is, and I will of course check this later on. Nonetheless, interesting first game, and we will play again. We will reverse the colors. Let's rematch. Actually not rematch. I should rematch and change the color. So let's play it with black. And here, oh, actually it was correct. What am I thinking? I played with white last game. Okay, so we get c4. Let's play knight f6 here. So far a standard opening that Ding does play. Ding does play the English opening. Sicilian, not as common. So let's play e5, go into it. Let's see, will he play e3 like he did in the match against Jan a few games ago? No, he plays g3. Now I will say, having played Ding Liren in many of the Chess Champion Tour events in 2020, we did have this exact variation. Now I can play d5, I can go bishop b4. Knight d4 is another move which I played against Fabiano. Now it is a bot at the end of the day, so I think I'm going to try to keep things a little bit more stable here with knight d4. I'm going to trade, play bishop b4 like I did against Fabiano in the recent Chessable Masters event where I did win on the final day in both matches against him. I will play okay, castles here, so I can take, I can also just castle here. I think I'm just gonna castle, I guess, and he's gonna play queen b3. No, he's gonna play d4. Interesting choice. So he plays d4, so I'm gonna take, I guess I'll play e4 here. Now white has the double isolated pawns. Bishop is trapped behind the pawn wall, but he's going to try to play f3 at some point and open up the position. Now I can play h6 here, which I think is quite reasonable. Stop bishop g5 with a pin. So I'll do it. Probably he'll go f3. He plays d5. Now d5 looks very, very suspicious to me, because now these pawns are kind of glued on c3 and c4 down the road after d6. This looks like a very suspicious move to me. So I'm going to play d6 here, and then I'm going to go rook e8. This looks very sus. It wants to go bishop d4 and create the classic wooden shield. I'm not super afraid of the wooden shield though. So question is, do I play like bishop f5, g4? Do I go rook e8? Rook e8 looks thematically correct just to guard the pawn against the wooden shield. He plays h3. Now here I can go c5, b6, and bishop a6 is one way to try to go after the pawns. But if I go b6, bishop a6, there's always queen a4 hitting the bishop and guarding the pawn, and of course creating a classic 90-degree right triangle. So with that being said, my assumption is that bishop f5 makes a lot of sense here. b6 again does make sense, but if I go b6, bishop d4, bishop f5, then there might be f3 and pressure on the f file. So I think I'm going to play bishop f5 here just to guard the pawn. We might get g4. We do. I'm going to go bishop g6 here. g5, maybe a move. White's create some weaknesses on the king side. He goes a4, which I really don't like. Now the question is, do I have time to go a5 and b6 here and create the chain, or do I just play b6 and allow a5 but I stop c5? I think I'm going to play a5 and trust that c5 is not a move here. Queen b1. Now I go b6, create the chain. Pawns can't be pushed here. I'm feeling like I'm doing very well. Objectively, I think I should actually be a little bit better here if I play this precisely. So I'm going to go knight d7 here. I'm still guarding the pawn. I can still go knight c5, create the bastion temporarily. I can also play knight e5 here. Now this looks very, very pleasant for me. The question is, do I have time to play queen h4 and line up the double stack? Do I not have time? Do I need to play knight c5 here? What do I do? Now my assumption here is that knight c5 is a very good move, simply because if he takes, he gives up a good bishop here. And I also get this structure where now the a4 pawn in endgame can become very weak. So I really do like my position here after queen d6. I think I'm actually just better. Maybe queen f6 is better, although then f3 and rook f3 and their issues. So I'm going to go queen d6 here. And my idea is very simple. Create the double stack on the e file. Actually, I think e3 is a very bad move, and I think I'm much better here if I play this precisely. So I want to be very careful how I play this, because now after f5 with bishop f5, I think I'm doing very well. Now if I was playing a human, I do think I would win this game most of the time here with the black pieces, but against a computer where if you make one wrong mistake, you suddenly lose control, I want to be very precise here and not throw this all away. So I can go rook e7 or rook e5 to create the double stack, anticipating this f4 or f3 move. I think it just looks correct, so I'm going to play it. He's going to play, I assume it's going to play f4, so I'll pre-move it. No, it doesn't. So I will go here, anticipating f4, so I can capture with e takes f3. We get h4 being played here. Now I can go h5, g5, f6. Again, I want to be very careful how I play this, because if I make even one wrong move, it's all going to fall apart. Now the point here is that if this f4 push isn't possible due to the double stack and winning the pawn, I should be better. So let me see. h5, g5, f6, f4 takes, bishop h5 is starting to get very unclear. But you know what? This is not Stonefish. This is not Mittens. I'm going to trust my instincts here. The h5 is fine, I think, although h5 takes rook h5, queen g4 is an idea. And if I take with the bishop f3, maybe, okay, I have to trust my instinct. Trust your instinct. So I'm going to play h5 here. And it goes rook b2. Now this is a very strange move, doesn't do anything at all. I'm kind of confused by this move. There's no threat on the b file here, so I think this might just be a delayed waiting move. So the question is, what should I play? Now f6 looks like a rock solid move here. I reinforce this so I can drop the bishop back. I also now make sure that there's no g5 push. I think I'm much better here. I'm definitely better in this position. It's a matter of how to play this. Now if I'm really playing for the memes, I can try to walk the king all the way to the queen side before attacking on the king side, but do I have time for it is a big question. Now my assumption is that I do have time, but do I go to, I'm worried that f7 there's going to be something with a check on the light squares versus f8, which looks just safer. On the other hand, I could also just play this like a human and play like rook e7 and maybe bishop e8. What to do. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play rook e7. I'm just going to basically stack the rooks, make sure they're guarded here. And now I think I'm going to actually try to walk the king here. Takes f4, takes rook f7. It looks okay, but it still feels kind of scary. So how do I improve the position is a big question mark. Now I could just go bishop f7 here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play bishop f7. And the reason I'm going to play bishop f7 is now if he ever goes f4 takes, taking on h5 no longer attacks a bishop. And now I'm very quietly going to scoop my king out of dodge here. So let's go here. And I want to see, he plays bishop h3, which is a very logical move here. Again, I do have to be careful about little tricks in the center of the board. I could play g5. I can obviously take at any moment here, but I can also play king d8 and take with the bishop. I think I'm going to trust my instinct that I can get away with this. The problem is I can't go king c8 because if pawn takes pawn. So it goes king to h1. Very reasonable move here. Now bishop to e8 with bishop d7 is a very serious idea, and I think I'm going to play it because now I can pin the bishop and I can still walk the king all the way over. We get rook to b1, and now bishop d7 looks very strong to me. But there is king g2. If I take and play f5, this should be winning here. This really should be winning. So I'm going to go bishop to d7, pin the pawn. Goes king g2. Now, if I play g5 takes, g4 takes, I have rook g7 to win material. And so I think after g5, I'm close to winning. Although g5, f4 takes rook e3. Yes, I think g5 must be correct here. So let's play g5. So it goes rook h1. So it's trying to keep play here. Now in this position I can also go f5 and g4, and I think actually after f5 I might be winning here because I'm basically able to trap the bishop in the corner. I think f5 is close to winning, so let's go f5 here. If takes I win. King g1. Okay, so now we're in the driver's seat. Now it's just a matter of converting this position and not giving any silly little tricks here. So f takes g4 guards the pawn, and on the other hand it does weaken the pawn on e4, so I don't know if it's the best move. But you know what, why should I be super afraid? That being said, it is a computer. So again, I have doubt in my mind. So because I have some doubt in my mind, I'm going to take with the f pawn just to be safe. It's going to go bishop g2, keep an eye on this pawn. Now, as long as I don't allow some trick with d6 here, I should win this game. So here I'm going to play, no, rook f7 would already be a blunder. So I'm going to take, it's going to take on h4, of course. And I think what I want to do is I want to protect with bishop e8 first. I think this is a very rock solid move, although I could just run my king to b8. Actually, you know what, let's just run the king out here. I'm just going to run my king to the queen side, do a nice little king walk here. Let's go king b8, king a7, make sure there's no funny business here, get the king to the edge of the board, no d6 tricks, and now I will start to activate. Now the first move that I'm going to play here is I think I'm going to go bishop to e8 and bishop to g6 just to protect the pawn on e4. Step one, protect the pawn. Step two is eventually start pushing p on the king side. Maybe I can play like rook h7 or rook f7. I think rook f7 is safer. I'm going to go like rook to, maybe I go rook to e8 here. I just need to make sure d6 is never a threat. As long as d6 is not a threat, I will win this game. I can also stack the two towers, but I like queen f6 targeting both of these pawns. And now h4, h3, big threat. It goes rook d2, trying desperately to force in d6. Now I'm quite confident I could take this pawn and win the game, but I really don't want to give any tricks here. So I think what I'm going to play is maybe, okay, let's see. If I take d6 and rook d8, this, or rook d7, this must be winning. So should I be afraid? No, I'm just going to grab d6. I'll go rook d7. Okay, it plays queen c2. So now I can even trade the queens and win this game cleanly. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk my king back to the center of the board. I'm going to put this king on d6. This is step one. Put the king on d6. Make sure there are no tricks on the queen side. This is step one. Step one is get the king to d6. Actually, maybe step one is not to get the king to d6. Maybe it's actually to run the king to g5 and play h4, h3. And now without d6 to break the chain, I can run my king up to g5 here. And this has to be winning. I go king g5, I have h4. This looks correct with bishop f5 to guard the pawns. Let's go here, guard all the pawns. I can play rook f6 to stop d6, stack the two towers. I can even go bishop to d7, and this is looking really, really good for me. So how do I finish off the game is sort of the $1,000,000 question. h3 is a move here. I'm kind of assuming that h3 is actually a good move, so I'm going to play it. And is it going to go to g3? It is. So now I'm going to go bishop to d7, and I'm probably going to sack the rook with rook to f3. I'm going to go rook f8, sack the rook, and this must be winning here. If this isn't winning, then I don't know what winning is. Now I could play bishop takes a4, but there is still bishop g4 here. So if I go rook to h8, which is actually quite a reasonable move here to push h2, I feel like I'm getting somewhere. It goes rook b2, so I have h2, rook h3. Now the key is there an easy way to win this without sort of allowing huge massive trades? And I'm not so sure that this is actually that easy. So h2 looks correct with rook h1, check, although rook f8 again looks reasonable too. I know I'm winning here. It's just a matter of what the correct order or the sequence is to finish this off. Now rook to f8 is not really the move that I want to play, but I think it works. Again, the problem with playing against computer bots is that it's, as you can tell, like I'm hesitant. It's like I know it's winning, but I'm still hesitant. I still feel like you got to be very careful what you do. So I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to play rook g8 here. Now this move doesn't really serve any purpose other than I want to move my king back to the center of the board. So I want to move my king back to the center of the board and probably go like rook f8 here and put pressure on the pawn. Although I did hang g4 potentially, although rook f2 king h3 bishop a4. I mean, if that's not winning, I don't know what winning is really. So let's go for it. Let's play rook f8. Goes king g3. Now again, I do have rook f3 here to sack the rook, and I assume there's some way to win here, but it's oddly very tricky, and I have to be careful not to make a repetition either, because if I make a threefold repetition, this game will end in a draw. So I'm gonna go rook d8. I have a new idea. I want to play c6 somewhere. King h2. I will play rook to g6, I guess, to guard the pawn. As long as there's no f4 trick. There isn't. It plays rook a2. Let's go rook g8, guard the pawn. And I think I'm going to play c6 here. I don't know when exactly, but I want to go c6 if I can. Although again, pushing these pawns the way that I did was really, really illogical. So how do I do this? Actually, it's oddly hard. It's very, very hard to actually do anything here. Maybe I have messed this up. Now I think again, I don't want to get really careless and throw this. So I'm gonna go bishop f5. I need to make sure where I've put the pawn, just to make sure I haven't I haven't done this position with the bishop on f5. So I still have all day to set it up. If I go rook d6 f4, I still have n peasant, so I can take. I still have c6 as well. Now here maybe I can play c6 already and then go rook c8. In fact, I think I should play c6. c6 takes rook c8. If f4, I have n peasant. If he doesn't take, then what's he doing? So let's go c6. I'll go here. Not takes, because then I yield the d file. And I can still take the pawn. And I can still go rook g6 here, and then rook d6. So I guard the pawn. I can play rook d6 here, offering the trade of the rooks. And again, what am I up here? I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 on 4, so I'm up 2 pawns here. This really should never be a draw. Now it's trying to claim that it can set up a fortress here. I don't believe that there's a fortress in this position. Now here I can play rook d2, takes, and let's think. If I go here, takes, king h3, rook f3, rook g3, I can play b5 maybe, takes c4, b6, c3, b7. That's probably not a clean win. So what I want to do here is actually not necessarily rush, although rook d2 probably is winning. So how do I not rush here is the question. I can play bishop to e6, which is probably good enough. Takes, bishop b3. Again, if this isn't winning, I don't know what winning is, so I'm going to do it. Goes king g3. So now if I play rook d2, bishop g4, I can take and play h2. So yes, let's go rook d2 here. If takes, I can trade. It plays rook e1. Now I'm getting very close to the point where I should be winning here. It's just a matter of some good technique. Now rook c2 looks clean enough because I'm going to win the pawn. So if I go rook c2, bishop g4, takes h2, king g3 takes, that must be winning. If this isn't winning, I don't want to be winning, honestly, in this position. So it takes. So now I assume that I trade the bishops. This is step one. Question is, do I play h2 or do I play rook c4? Both moves are in play here. If I go rook c4, king h3, the king is on h3 versus h2. I don't really know if it makes a difference. But I'll play h2. I don't know if it makes a difference. Probably it doesn't make any difference here in the position, but this should be winning. Again, if this isn't winning, I mean, I've got 3 pawns going up the board. Yeah, this is just winning. I go here, rook guards the pawn, and I just start pushing p up the queen side. 3 connected pawns. No way that this is there's 0 chance that this is a draw. I have 3 connected pawns. Let's go here, start pushing p with a3, a2. Let's go here. I can obviously walk the king up the board as well. The question is, if I go a3, is there an instant win? It doesn't look like there's an instant win, so I assume the way that I just win this, I go king c4 and king b3, or rook b5 and rook a5, which also makes a lot of sense. In fact, I think rook b5 is one of the easiest ways to win, because I just go rook a5 here after rook a8, put the rook behind the passed pawn. Although, actually, what am I doing here? What am I doing? I'm trying to actually mess this up. I think this is still winning, but I'm trying to kind of make this a little bit of a hash. Let's go here. And I always have, the whole point here is that I always have a2 and rook a5 or rook b1. Both of the rook hooks will win me the game. it's going to go check. I go here, rook to a8, rook to a5, e5, a2 should be winning. So if I go here, it's going to play rook h1, a2, e5 here. Yes, this is winning. So I go a2 or rook a5, e5, a2. So I go rook a5, and now the rook is behind the passed pawn. My king should get back here in plenty of time. I mean, if this isn't winning, I mean, I'd be kind of floored, honestly, because I can actually just run my king straight up to b3. But again, as you guys can see, playing against the bot, I've made this extremely complicated. Like, I am winning here, but I've made this extremely tricky on myself. So I can go king a3, which is probably the cleanest way to win. Rook a7 is also probably good enough. c4, I think every move wins, but probably the cleanest one is king b3, e7, rook a8, and then rook e8. Yeah, king b3 should be the cleanest one. e7, I go rook a8. I just go king b2 here, force the rook away, queen, and the two pawns are too much here. So it goes rook d1, and now I should play rook to e8, attacking the pawn. And whew, sheesh, this was a close game, but I am going to win now because I will simply sack the rook, make a queen, and the rest is going to be very basic. I let this game get way too close for comfort, but when all is said and done, we are going to get a win against the Liren bot. Let's go king c4, and now we simply force the pieces off the board. I'll just go here, force a trade, and that's going to be very routine. Let's just start pushing p, I guess. I can even just go b4, b3, honestly. You can check, I go up. Doesn't matter. It's all over. Go here, make a queen, I go check, and I win the rook. Let's go check takes, and this will be very straightforward. Let's go here. Actually, it's two queens versus a queen and rook, so I still do need to be careful to not allow some kind of weird stalemate. I can't just pre-move the whole thing. Let's see what it does here. It goes here, and let's go here, here, and checkmate. And there you guys go. We get the win against the Liren bot in the second game. Now, this bot made some mistakes that I honestly am going to say are not very reminiscent of Liren's style. We're not going to go through this super in depth because this was a long game, but I would say there were a couple big mistakes here. I think that the bot played this move d5, which I really don't like here. The whole concept when you play the English is to play for f3 here and simply open up the scope for the bishop and try to play e4 and build like this big white center potentially. Now, here the computer still doesn't like white's position. It thinks that black is significantly better, but nonetheless, it should have played for this. d5 was a very serious positional error. I think that a4 also very serious positional error. Everything at this point should have been focused on playing for f3. h3 g4 not precise either, because what happens is when we get to this position, white needs f3 desperately, because we're always going to get the structure where I can essentially just lock up the queen side. You can't push any of these pawns. They're completely glued here, so the pawns are glued, so white needs f3 or else you end up with this light square bishop on g2 that is simply a horrific piece. Computer not able to do it. It plays h3 g4, not very reminiscent of Ding for sure. Nonetheless, a very interesting game. I do find a way to get the win in the second game against Dingbot. So even though I wasn't able to beat him in the Kansas, I lost his very tragic last round game, I can at least take some solace in the fact that I'm able to beat the Dingbot here on chess.com. Anyway, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video of me trying to beat the Liren AI bot on chess.com. Make sure to hit that subscribe button below if you want to see more YouTube only videos. But again, I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you had a positive experience, and I will see all of you guys very, very soon. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.